intentionally make it a little complicated for all of us?
Just a little
Great question. That's my boss.
That's okay. We can all love and hate our bosses.
We think of ourselves as a big deal, but Bollywood is bigger than Hollywood.
Hi, this is Bhavna and you're watching India Today. Today I'm very happy to be joined by the director-actor duo of the upcoming series Fallout. Here I am joined by Mr. Nolan and Ella. Firstly, a huge welcome to India Today. How are you?
Thank you. Good.
Doing great.
I understand that this is not your first visit, Jonathan, to India.
First visit in 20 years, and then we came and shot The Dark Knight Rises for a couple of days here, but I wasn't able to make it work, so I felt like I was owed a return trip. So I'm very happy to be here.
But let's just say this is your first visit. 20 years doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
There was a pandemic in between. Let's just say 40 years.
That's
right?
very true. We just reset the clock. Absolutely.
So in that sense, how was it so far? How has India treated you? Mumbai especially. How has it been so far?
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Ella, how about you?
It's been amazing. We've eaten amazing food. I haven't really left the hotel that much, I'll be honest. It's been quite full on, but for what I've seen, I want to come back properly and explore properly and go traveling and go around.
Definitely.
I'll send you a list.
Please send me your recommendations.
I love doing this to everyone.
Yeah?
I just want you all to explore the country so much.
Yeah.
But you know, about Fallout, I started watching the episode, and of course, it has all the trademark things which I know which a Nolan film would have. Also, I have a question where I'm just like, it's never easy. Like, I have to watch all your project at least twice to really get a sense
That's what we're
of
going
it.
for. Yeah.
You know, because, and this has always happened. Like, there are several examples so far. So I want to understand, whenever you decide, okay, this is something that I want to translate into a film or a series, do you intentionally make it a little complicated for all of us?
Just a little
Great question.
Just a little bit. We thought with Memento, with my first movie, we thought if we get people to buy 2 tickets. The nice thing about
It's a tactic.
the nice thing about a Prime Video subscription, you can watch as many times as you like. You just keep going. No, we just always thought from the beginning. I always enjoyed complicated, textured, provocative, weird movies, and so we have always hoped to make our projects just a little bit more lean in.
Yeah. I mean, you cannot just watch, like, you know, you cannot just enter a film made by you thinking that, oh, I can just sleep in the theater or while watching, because that happens to a lot of people, right?
It's not a 2-screen experience.
Yeah.
God bless the 2-screen experience team at Prime. They're great, but it's not. We want you to watch the show.
No, but that is why we love it. But also, I understand this is a game that has been translated into a series, right? Which can be very, very difficult.
Yes.
Because you have a source material already and you have to sort of adapt your series basis that. I want to know, you know, you enter thinking that, okay, this is the broad texture to what I'm going to translate it into. But when you get into it, sometimes you're surprised by the intensity or the volume, right? Yeah. What if you had to pick that one thing which surprised you while you were working on it? What would that be?
Well, my surprise goes back to playing the games originally. And my first experience playing the games, I just heard that they were really good. I was playing Fallout 3. I'd heard they were great, but I'm the kind of person who I don't want to watch the trailer. I don't want to, I want to know as little as possible. And when I started playing that game, I could not believe all of the different flavors. I think one of the things that I look for as an audience member or as a gamer is surprise. You're looking for something that feels fresh.
Yeah.
You're looking for something that doesn't quite do the thing that, so often we wind up on our phone or watching something else because there's a familiarity to what we're watching. There is nothing familiar about Fallout for me. There's nothing familiar about the game, and hopefully for the audience, there's very little that feels familiar about the series. Yeah,
it gave me a lot of adrenaline rush as well while I'm watching, because I felt like I am in the game and like sort of feeling that, right? And that is amazing. Yeah. But to you, because it's very rare to see a female protagonist sort of taking the lead and sort of helming a project like this, because usually games and actors are synonymous, right? Especially on celluloid or in series. So how challenging was it for you? Just the same question, like you enter thinking that, okay, this is something, okay, there must be physical challenges and of course all of that. But when you enter and you suddenly realize, oh my God, this is so much more than what I thought it would be.
Yeah, it can definitely be really intimidating coming into doing adaptations, but also something that is so well loved, and there's decades of lore behind it. You know, that would, it's a lot, it's overwhelming. Luckily, I really love research. I love doing prep. It's my favorite part.
I love when playing a video game is research. I've done a
Yeah,
couple projects.
I know.
in
How
the case of
great
that.
are our
It's
jobs?
pretty great.
Like, well, I spend a lot of time watching people play video games on YouTube because I couldn't quite get there myself. I think it can be really intimidating, but you just kind of have to do it.
Yeah.
And I think it's very helpful knowing that my character is an original character. She's not from the game. You know, Jonah, he never made it mandatory to play the game. You know, you don't have to know the game to enjoy the series, which is something that I think makes it so universally enjoyable. But it is also, you know, hopefully fans of the game will like the show because there's so many Easter eggs.
Yeah.
It's so loyal. You know, the show is so faithful.
I'm
to
sure
the
they'll be
game.
like, oh, we know this.
Yeah, and that's really fun. That's why the prep is useful and comes in
Yeah.
handy.
But Ella, give me one good and one best and the worst thing about working with Jonathan as a director.
Dear. Oh boy.
That's my boss.
Okay, we can all love and
Think
hate
of
our
it in those terms.
bosses.
It's all the team. We're all pulling together, unless.
Oh, that's a hard question. The best thing, I mean, honestly, I'm not just sucking up. There is a lot of good things about working with him. One of my favorite things is the pace. You move so quickly.
We do.
And it's also very hard to find a director who can do both, who has like the technical understanding of cameras and angles and blah, 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 but also can direct actors really well and has like an emotional understanding. And I think you do both really well. I can't look at you while I'm complimenting you. Don't look at me.
I'm not looking at you either. I'm blushing.
And there's no bad things.
Oh, wow.
Not even one.
We'll talk about them after.
I'll tell you later.
You'll whisper it later on. But
Maybe the pace is a good and a bad thing, actually.
100%.
Maybe it's the best thing and the worst thing.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, we had a day, it was pretty early in the schedule. And I tried to make it later in the schedule, but we had that one day from the opening episode that starts as a love scene and then becomes something very different.
Oh my God.
I know, we were both pretty nervous about that one, but it came out pretty damn well.
Yeah, sometimes you look at the day, the call sheet, and I don't know how I'm going to get through this, but somehow you always do. Somehow.
No, but that's why it makes a great team. I mean, I'm already intrigued and I'm yet to watch the rest of the episodes. So that's a great thing. But also I want to understand from you, when you're making a series like this, which is very high on budget as well, do you ever really, I mean, you know, I just feel that the studios would just pass on the budget, just saying that, oh, Nolan is associated, let's just trust him blindly. But you have to like kind of strike a balance when it comes
Absolutely.
to, you know, how do you manage to do that? Because all of your projects have sort of been well balanced when it comes to just storytelling and the visuals. But every time it could be challenging, right?
Every time. I think I had the pleasure of growing up with my brother and in the beginning of my career working in film, starting in independent film, and then with Chris, you know, kind of jumping into Batman Begins, which was a big difference, and sort of watching how that machine could work quickly, safely, respectfully, get a lot of great material, and a sort of a philosophy for how to make these things. And I think we have a huge advantage in an age of computer graphics.
Yeah.
On any given project, we'd always rather shoot it for real. On a project where you're adapting a video game, you're never going to beat the beauty of the games if you're just using computer
Absolutely,
graphics.
yes.
So we cheated. We got on a plane and we flew to Namibia. We got on a plane and we flew to Utah. We built these some of the most beautiful sets I've ever seen in New York with our incredibly talented designer and crew, and just try to bring as much reality, because that's something a game can't quite give you. You know?
Absolutely, yes. Wow, this is amazing. But also, since you mentioned that a lot of the work that you did initially was in collaboration. I mean, you co-wrote so many of the work when it comes to just Interstellar. I think I've watched it 4 times to just understand it, you know. Because I'm just like, what is this? I need to understand it. It was so great.
Did you get there in the end? Did you figure it out?
Huh?
Can you tell me? Because I'm still,
I don't think we have time,
a
but we
little
can
unsure.
discuss it later. But you know, I just want to understand, when you're writing with someone you trust completely, and when you're doing a project like Chris, and when you're doing a project which is completely on your own, what is the difference? Is there do you sometimes still go for advice when it comes to just, if you're stuck on something, do you go to Chris maybe sometimes?
Sometimes we still show each other everything that we work on, which is fun. Also collaborate with Lisa, my wife and partner, Athena Wickham, our partner. I'm lucky in that I've, in my career, gotten to work with the coolest, the most talented people, Ella included, you know, these incredible casts, incredible collaborators on Fallout. Geneva and Graham are writers and showrunners who are extraordinary. I have a very, very good luck, and I get to hang out with those people and look smart, because they're smart.
That's true. But also lastly, now I want to know if two of the characters, fictional characters from the franchise that you have done, it could be the Dark Knight trilogy or maybe even Fallout for that matter, if two fictional characters were to be combined in a single universe, which would it be and why?
That's a
Oh, wow.
good question.
Wow. I'm going to let you handle it.
Don't. No, I can't.
But those are your words.
Okay. Yeah, that's not fair. Wow. In the same universe,
Yeah.
I think Heath Ledger's Joker would fit right in Fallout. I think
Wow.
that, you know, that was one of the few. Sometimes you get an opportunity to work with. I mean, we get to work with so many talented people, and the experience with that character, it was such a frightening character to write for me because of the importance of it to fans, to myself. You know, and I remember calling Chris the day after the first day on set. I couldn't be there for the first couple of days of shooting, and just saying, what's he doing? What does he sound like? You know, it spent so long with the character that understanding how Heath was going to approach it was very exciting. And I think part of the fun for me with Fallout is the project that Fallout is the closest that I've gotten to comedy. You know, it's dark, it's emotional, it's dramatic, but it's also satirical and hopefully very funny, which is how the games are.
Yeah.
And so I think that tone for me, the closest I'd come to that tone in my career was in writing for the Joker, for the Dark Knight, where you knew that you had to have this kind of gonzo approach, but make it fit within this larger dramatic universe.
Wow, lovely. I wasn't expecting that, but now that I think of it, it's amazing. Just the sound of it. Maybe you should do that.
Yeah,
You never
I
know.
wish. I wish.
I think it will be unfair if I don't ask this, that because you're in India and, I mean, is there a director perhaps you want to collaborate with sometime in the near future?
It's so exciting for us to be here. We think of ourselves as a big deal, but Bollywood is bigger than Hollywood. I think the way that the films are made here is a little more in keeping with the way that we like to make our films. There's an emphasis on practical beauty, on stunt work. I'm just kind of in awe of the way Bollywood movies are made. So I'm hoping to kind of skip my plane and stick around and see what I can learn.
Lovely. I hope you stick around. Thank you so much, and all the very best for Fallout.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.